Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 32 of Simple Ken. Lot of catching up to do. I hope you guys have had a couple of good months. Last episode was with Biswa. It was a long one. This one is just with me, bruh. Just with me. And a lot has happened. The last one was in March. It's June end now. As you can notice, it's all changed. I'm not in Goa anymore. The denial is over. Vacation is over. Time to get to work. We moved here in April. So April, May, June, we've just been, whole of April, we're just adjusting to moving to this new place. This angle took me some time to figure out. The frontal wasn't working. As you can notice, same couches and painting from the Goa house. So it's not fully different. Then we went for a honeymoon. And as you know, I've started vlogging and I vlogged that honeymoon as well. Very overwhelming because there's so much footage. But this is the first time ever where vlogging enhanced the vacation. I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, look at these content creators just making content out of everything. I think I specifically got back to vlogging to achieve a non-intrusive way. And I realized the best part about photographs/videos is that it's meant to capture a moment in time, right? To really appreciate the details like a painting. So that's what I did with this honeymoon vlog as well. I think when you go to Paris and south of France or Switzerland, everything is so pretty that in 2-3 days, you get used to it. Like your brain kind of just like can't fathom this level of natural beauty and architectural beauty. But then when I took a video, I tried to frame it and really enjoy what I'm seeing. And then every night we used to watch the footage and be like, oh my God, is this where we're right now? It's like this beautiful place. I know the elephant in the room is what's happening with the schedule. You know what? I'm doing my best, man. I moved cities, got married, went for a honeymoon. Work-wise also, I changed management companies. So it's been a lot going on. Don't want to bore you with it, but it's been hard to be consistent with content and work. I've also started writing my special and have written 0 minutes because I don't like any joke I've written so far. But the reason I shot this episode ASAP was because a couple of days ago, I was at an open mic and the sweet lady came up and she took a huge breath and she said, during COVID, used to do a series called Simple Ken, which also hurt because she assumed Simple Ken has stopped. And she said that's made such a massive difference to me in my life. And I've connected with you at such... And I was like, oh my God, the Simple Ken audience will just be the death of me. Because I've obviously had a lot of interaction with people who like my work. But the Simple Ken peeps, they take their time to tell me about the connection they feel with this show. So I was like, you know what? So I was also supposed to do some partnership for this episode. This is the third time I'm recording this episode. First time the camera stopped. Second time camera stopped. This time I was just like, I shot it in March. If you believe it, I was trying to be on time. And I felt it didn't match all the things that are happening in my life right now. And that's the whole point of Simple Ken, that it's a long form content of me talking about my week's struggles, which turns into months. So I was like, yeah, it makes sense for me to just reshoot that. So I have no memory of the questions I answered. So hopefully this will make sense. Okay. So on to the questions. If you're new here, this long recording of me talking, it's not a podcast. It's just me answering people's questions that I find on the comments or on the Simple Ken Instagram. Okay. We're getting to that now. But yeah, hope that quick update was good enough. Let's get to it. Hey Kenny, first of all, congratulations on your wedding. Hope you have the best married life ever. Yeah, we finished for 5 months, bruh. Can you believe it? I'm currently in 12th standard and I really like this guy in my class. Okay. I thought this was going to be studies question, but no. I used to crush on him. Okay? No, used to crush on him. She's over this guy. Since like used to crush on since like 6th grade. Then we changed schools. He never felt anything for me. He was in a relationship with someone at that time, and apparently he thought I was a creep. Cut class 12th. We end up in the same school. We started texting on a regular basis. Sometimes we would talk over text for 4 hours straight. Sometimes he won't even reply to my text. It's super confusing. I don't know what is that he actually wants. Also, he never speaks to me in public. That's a big red flag. He never speaks to me in public. Exchanging looks is all we do. I'm so puzzled about what I should interpret from it and what not. Also, is it right to fall into this thing right now? PS, love the long recording if you're talking. Wish they were more frequent though. Yeah. PS2? You can't just do PS and PS2. PS2 is PlayStation 2. Would really appreciate if you could treat me as an anonymous fan. This person says, okay, first of all, right out the bat, what this dude is doing is something called hot and cold. Hot and cold is when someone is extremely responsive and then suddenly becomes unresponsive. And I just want to tell you, anonymous fan, that run away from this type of relationships and people. This is usually associated with extreme emotional instability and immaturity, especially you don't know them. Like sometimes your friends do hot and cold and maybe they're going through something, but if you have a crush on someone, man, this is the worst type of people to date. And I'm talking from experience. I think what's happened from 6th to 12th is that this dude has suddenly found you attractive since I'm guessing puberty happened. Went through the same thing. 5th standard was bullied and made fun of. 10th, 11th standard became this hot you see today. I was very short and I had this growth spurt. So I guess some muscles and stuff. Suddenly I'm the cute boy. I was like, nah, I know how you guys treated me before. I remember. So must have been that. He suddenly finds you attractive. We also asked, should I get into this thing now? You seem very mature already. Just this level of self-awareness. But yeah, man, it's like this, by the way, is not going to end even after school. You're going to meet a lot of hot and cold people. Just the worst. And I don't know, man, why we get attracted to this chase thingy where, oh, now they're responding, now they're not interested. I think if someone likes you or they have the intention of dating, they can spend that time to get to know you. And if they need more time, they can just tell you that. And since you're very young, this is the whole point of dating young, is that you realize you can't just take people for a ride. I feel so bad for the women I've dated before. I was just so immature and I didn't communicate well. And I'm lucky to be with someone now who's more patient and we both expect to communicate with each other. And that just came with time and growing up. So yeah, I guess in retrospect, I'm annoyed with this dude, but this is probably what I would have also done to you. So I'm sorry. Anyway, next question. Nikhil Sangathia. I'm an aspirant of public services. My question is that studying 12 to 15 hours a day is a really tough job, and also remembering whatever we study is even more challenging. We go through a lot of emotions and we actually sacrifice our young age for this exam, but still no one appreciates us even if we fail the prelims, and relative stabs a pointed knife by their words. I think you're talking about relative. Okay. Do we deserve this? But for me, your words matter. Please say something nice for us. Thanking you for all the 30 episodes. That really boosts me up. Oh man, Nikhil, I'm sorry, man. I know you're trying to achieve something that's very hard to achieve, and it's a very tough exam and many people don't make it. And you're right. I mean, a lot of my friends who fail CA exams, man, they're tumultuous years of torture, of just trying to get through but I don't know, man. I just use this analogy of our purpose in that period. I think that period of college and school is just to get knowledge and pass these steps that we as a society have created. Unfortunately, we just get a degree. And I just went through it. And because I just realized the path ahead without doing the basic fundamental stuff would be much harder. Um, and yeah, you're right, dude. In India, people don't understand mental health, especially if you're a guy, especially if it's to do with studies. And it's inbuilt in our culture, which is also a good thing that education is very important. Because God forbid we were part of a culture that didn't focus on that or prioritize that, then we would have been in far off, like far worse. I think the biggest advantage we have as Indians is that it's ingrained into our culture that if you don't have a degree or you're not studied, you're wasting your life and you're stupid. And the horrible part of that is that parents ignore the emotions of the kids. And the great part of it is that in an international market, we are so freaking competitive and awesome, that we have such an edge over everybody. So that's awesome. Obviously, every good thing has a bad thing. I'm sorry, Nikhil. I just want you to know that you're doing your best, and be your own cheerleader for now. And yeah, man, invest some time in your friends. I think you're spending 15 hours a day studying. If you can just put 30 to 40 minutes, do a group call with your buddies and just feel better. Just get it out, or just do something that has nothing to do with studies for again 30, 40 minutes. Like just go for a walk or go for a bike ride with your friends and have a chai and come back. Don't drink though. I feel that'll make it worse. Just suggesting all the drinking and smoking doesn't really help. I think what really helps is letting off some steam. And if you don't have the luxury of doing any of this, do some gaming, dude. Gaming is a great way to let off some steam. You deserve that break. And I promise you, you'll get over this and then you'll break that exam. And even if you don't get through that exam, you'll figure out, because you're so smart already, you'll pass some other exam, get into some other good college. You will be absolutely fine, Nikhil. But this is the stage where you kind of like give it your all. Not at the cost of you breaking down. That's nothing is more worth than that. I know you're trying to achieve the best, and that's heavy price to pay. But I admire that you have such high goals and standards for yourself. That's enough, okay? So don't listen to your relatives. Also, our relatives are stupid as shit. Like, I'm sorry, but our unachieving relatives who haven't done crap in their lives are telling us, oh, it's not good enough. Like, oh my God, is this so pathetic? Everybody has problems. Everybody is dealing with a lot of stuff. Just be kind to each other. So if a relative is not kind to you, they're not a nice relative. So just don't even bother, dude. And I know it hurts because you think they have your best interest. But I'm sorry, Nikhil. I hope your friends help you and you're not so hard on yourself, okay? Kudos to you for having such a big goal. So next question. Ipsita Priyadarshini Patra. She says, I really related to the point of men suppressing the emotions. In 2020, when my grandmother died of COVID, my father didn't cry throughout the funeral. I was confused because I was bawling my eyes out and he just carried on like nothing happened. 15 days later, I had a fight with my aunt because she was bad-mouthing my brother and I just blasted. I packed my bags to return back to the city where I was studying. My dad comes to my room and asks me not to go. I didn't listen. It's a normal thing when my aunt comes over. I'm sorry. But that day my dad broke down. He cried and cried. And for like 40 minutes, and I cried as well. We talked about grandma and cried even more. That evening, I could see a burden getting off his back. He felt calmer and relaxed. For all the people out there who suppress their emotions because they're supposed to be strong and be there for others, it's okay to let your feelings out. Don't hold it in. It only eats you from within. Ipsita nicely actually answered Nikhil's question as well. Man, thank you so much, Ipsita, for sharing the story. Again, I also feel very glad that I have a piece of content that enables this sort of exchange. Because in my head, I'm like, I just make comedy videos and perform, and all my interactions are either you're really funny, you're awesome, or you suck, or this is lame. But then with Simple Ken, it's a genuine dialogue that's happening, which I can't do without actually meeting people, which I can't do either because there's so many people out there. But online, like, just the fact that you were like, hey, I heard this episode, I want to share this intimate story from my life that the sole purpose of which is to just share and let people know that it's okay. I'm really proud of that. And thank you for making Simple Ken into that. So yeah, that's dads, man. dads just like, again, I think the running theme for me is just we could just write tragedies for our moms and dads. Just they're trying their hard to figure out how to have a kid, how to run a family, manage expenses. Yeah, I think as children, we can do a lot to help them after we figure ourselves out. But I'm 31, and I think from 26 to 31, I've only been thinking about my parents, and I have the luxury to because my career is going okay. So I can kind of look inward. And I'm just like, how do I help my parents without them going to therapy? Because they won't go for therapy because they don't have the luxury that we have of self awareness and a lot of access to mental health. And they're also rigid in their own ways because, they're much older and it's hard to change. But I guess it's so wonderful that if your dad has you and he could express all that grief in a safe space, and he knew you wouldn't judge him. And so few men or dads have that. Obviously, I'm not excluding moms, but yeah, just these roles we have in life kind of applies to everybody. Like we talk about women, then we kind of forget about men, then we talk about men, we forget about children, we forget about grandparents. It's just like everybody's kind of suffering, and we gotta be kind, I guess. And even if you're not kind, it's okay. We're also figuring it out. You're not perfect, and we all have our breakdowns and we all have our ugly moments, and that doesn't mean you're fully written off as a bad person. So I hope your dad finds more opportunities to grieve. I feel like my dad's like this, but my mom's also like this. Like my mom's worse. Like my mom's more quote unquote macho than my dad. Like she doesn't express emotion, and she has been through a lot, and that's ended up her being little kind of too shielded. And I just wish I could help her get out of that. But I think she is, though. I think ever since Trace has come into our family, I think that female connection has improved because our house is just boys. But yeah, it's so nice to have, even in my parents being 60s, to see them grow and become more vulnerable. It's nice. Thank you, Imshizah, for sharing that. Next question is from Priyanka Mazumdar. Hey Kenny, I was wondering about your views on dating in college. Like as you mentioned, we have certain roles in different parts of our lives. Hey, she's quoting what I just said, man. Since the phase is primarily about education, is dating really important or necessary? Yo, Priyanka, I'm just letting you know. I feel like you should date in college. School, though, I never dated in school, so I can't speak from my experience, but I have a lovely relationship with this. On one hand, it's good to date early so you figure out and make all your mistakes so that by the time you're in your late 20s, 30s, you can finally grow from your mistakes and find someone nice. But on the other side, I've seen my friends getting obsessed with their boyfriends or girlfriends, and their whole life becomes that, and they have no personality. Because I was such a lonely fellow in school, all I did was sit in my room and play guitar, draw, sketch, write, watch movies, shoot movies. And that's what made me who I am. So by the time in college, when I started dating, I kind of knew my personality, but still, man, dating is such a roller coaster ride. That is such an important part of life because it helps you find your life partner. So yeah, so Priyanka, freaking invest in it. And if you're self-aware, try to juggle education and dating. But I think it's a huge advantage to date early. Not too early. I feel, I don't know, everyone's different. But I think college is perfect. School, you're too dumb and stuff. College, you kind of know who you are. And that's also when puberty is max. Raging hormones. I think college is a good time. Also, your parents are not that controlling during college, so you can sneak off and do Katie stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Getting behind a car or scooter or lover's point. You know what college section to go to where no one comes to and there's no light there. Yeah, That's what I'm talking about. Also, our parents are very hypocritical. They also did all this. And then when you talk about it, they have a big problem. And the reason most parents' generation are so frustrated in their marriage and relationship is because they didn't date. And they matured within the marriage. And now they can't stand their partner. Sorry, Priyanka, I know that's not what you asked to bitch about your parents, but just thought I'll add that in. Next question is from Sarthak Arora. Hey Kem, Sarthak. I'm Sarthak, currently in 11th standard, and as we all know that my generation is really messed up with dopamine addiction due to so much consumption of micro content that we cannot sit for an hour or two just to do serious work. For example, study or read or listen a 1 hour long serious podcast. This is not a serious podcast. Get out of here. So I was just curious if you have any tips on how to cut short this micro content consumption and how to self-control to stop the dopamine addiction. P.S. Love your content. I'm really big fan of yours and also of Tanmay Bhatt. I'm also a fan of Tanmay Bhatt. Love all your reaction videos with him. Would really love if you shoot some more. Ask Tanmay to have me more in the reaction videos. Yes, Sarthak, you 11th standard, a lot of self-awareness. Buddy, Sarthak, you're right, buddy. We have a dopamine addiction problem. Never in the history of mankind do we have such next level technology to keep us entertained. Like, you give a child an iPad and it's seeing like bajillion colors and graphics and music coming out of a slab of glass. That can't compete with mud or park. Can't. So we do have a problem, but at the same time, all of us are going through it. So you kind of just seeing your generation, but dude, our parents are addicted to WhatsApp and Facebook and all that crap as well. My parents and their friends are always on their phones. So it's not just you or your generation. We all are going through this. I was like, I don't know, man. I think since you rightly put it, I think we just have to consciously force ourselves to do stuff for an hour or two without our phone. I am fully addicted to my phone. Back in the day, I could keep it away and chill. Now, though, I get excited that I get to scroll on my phone, man. It's really bad. I mean, the only things I do without my phone is I meditate, I work out, and then I go for a walk sometimes, or I'm hanging out with my friends. But dude, like most of the time, I love my phone. I just love the internet. So I think it's causing a lot of problems. Like, for example, people when they have lunch together or going to hang out with each other, they're just on their phones. And I think like simple hygiene, like, hey, if we're hanging out together, let's not have our phone. Or if we're having dinner together, let's not have a phone. But other than that, Sarthak, we're doomed. I mean, I don't know what to do about this because it freaks me out. Because if someday if I have kids, oh my God, they're just gonna be attached to their phones all the time. And so will I, because I would be in peak addiction. So thank you, Sarthak, for freaking us out. And if you find a solution, let me know. Cheesy Yoda says, hey Kenny, been watching your videos since a long time. I'm a 15-year-old in my 10th grade. Oh, I've got some cuties in this episode. Small cuties. And honestly, I don't know what I'm good at or what I really like. I think I'm good at developing football tactics. And since football never gets representation in this country, I have no benchmark to compare myself with. So my question is, what do you think I must do after my 10th boards? How to find your passion? And do you think studying what you're going to do in your career is overhyped? Considering that you're doing something completely different from what you studied in college. Hey Cheesy Yoda, great question. Last question of the episode. It's great you like football tactics. If I'm not wrong, there's degrees abroad for sports management or sports related degrees, and you could totally do that. But your second question is, does it make sense to study what you want to get into? For me, it doesn't apply because I'm in a performing creative profession, and there's no degree for it as such. There's no stand-up comedy degree. There are acting degrees, but again, how many actors do you know that became successful only from acting classes? I can only think of Bradley Cooper from Inside the Actors Studio, but most of this creative stuff doesn't work straightforward like that. Yours is pretty technical. Like football strategy, tactics, management is pretty technical and properly management category. So you, especially in your context, could totally study that. And what you'll discover is that maybe you don't like this particular aspect about football, it's something else, and you get to discover that because you're in that universe. I keep telling people college is not about the degree, it's about the universe. The universe of surrounding yourself with other creative people older than you, smarter than you, cooler than you, more experienced than you. Even in the technical field, you go to this sports management college, you're going to meet people from different profession, different industries, but they're kind of related, and that's going to blow your mind, and not the actual degree. So if you're confident that this is something that you're really passionate about, and the worst job can pay basic stuff, just go for it, bruh. And again, the alternate answer, cheesy Yoda, is nobody knows, and life is a mystery, right? So might as well try something. Max, you will fail, but the journey will be so interesting. Imagine if you can actually afford this course and go abroad and learn sports management, dude. It'll be so dope. So yeah, good luck, buddy. And by the way, you're 15. By the time you're 18, what if you don't like football anymore and you fully have a new passion? That's the worst problem. Can't even plan your life because your brain starts liking different stuff. You just got to make up your mind, man. What do you like? Actually, I feel just choose a boring ass job that you never liked in the first place. So you just do that. And on the side, you keep doing stuff you like. Anyway, that's the end of the episode. I hope you liked it. Thank you so much for your questions. Please comment below your questions or what you thought about the episode. And for me to find it slightly easier, you can go to Simple Ken Podcast on Instagram. There I can read your questions more clearly. Easier for me to find it. But don't worry, you can just put your question with hashtag SimpleKen, or just put a normal comment, man. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful few weeks, months ahead. And hope you like this episode. I'll see you soon. Hope in this same house in Mumbai. Anyway, thank you so much. By the way, if you want to hear the audio version and don't have the bandwidth to just press play and watch the video, you can go to Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Ghana, everywhere. It's everywhere, guys. Everywhere. Any audio place that plays podcast, Simple Ken is there. You can enjoy it there. And I usually release it a little early. All you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Tata, bye bye.
It's time for simple.